My wife is a CEO, but she goes bankrupt now. Everyone assumes I'll take the money and run. After all, I'm good looking, and all I've ever cared about is money. Every day I've been spending her cash. Eating well, playing hard, living large. However, I actually want to stick around and help her make a comeback. Because when she does bounce back, even the spare change slipping through her fingers could set me up for life. But who could have guessed that the bankruptcy is fake? When I transmigrate into this novel, it's already the final chapter. The stunning CEO I'm now married to is the villainess, who is already defeated by the heroine. I still remember the last lines ever written about her. The only things Claire White has left are her husband lying in that bedroom, and her collection of expensive watches and clothes. But even Claire knows. The man who has never paid her any attention except to ask for money will soon walk out with her watches and her wardrobe, leaving her with absolutely nothing. I rub my temples, think about my newly bankrupt wife, and let out a long, quiet sigh. Claire has actually treated me pretty well since we got married. Now that she's hit rock bottom, I can't quite bring myself to grab the cash and disappear. The least I can do is wait until she has her own income again, or at least some kind of footing. After sorting through my thoughts for a bit, I get up and start tackling the disaster zone we call home. It takes a full 3 hours. I finally manage to stuff everything into one corner of my room. The pile is impressive. Over 100 watches and more than 80 outfits. Right now I'd give anything to swap the clothes for more watches, just because watches are just so much easier to sell. I wake up at 2 in the afternoon, my stomach growling. I flip open the wallet on the coffee table. Just as expected, I find my ID card, bank card, and 700 yuan. As for the kitchen, I haven't set foot in it. We only just moved in, and neither of us is the cooking type, so there's nothing in there. I need to find food on my own. Luckily, the apartment Claire rented is small but well located. There's a whole row of restaurants right downstairs. I stroll down and grab a bowl of noodles, thinking about the nearly empty bathroom cabinet I spotted earlier. I swing by the supermarket, and I come back hauling a bag full of daily essentials. I pick up a set for Claire too. The colors, the styles, all chosen based on what I remember her preferring. Then I start cleaning, pushing open the door and stepping into Claire's room. Apart from a few things on the bookshelf and desk, all that's in there is a bed and the bare necessities. I sigh helplessly. It's a lot to ask of a woman raised like royalty, to put up with a life like this. I look around and get to work. Time ticks by, and by the time the whole house is sorted, it's 10 o'clock at night. I wash up, set out some late night snacks on the coffee table, and get ready to dig in. Just as I tear open the packaging and bring the first bite to my mouth, the front door opens. I look up and meet a pair of eyes as clear and still as autumn water. The woman in the doorway watches me, expression unreadable. As she pulls her gaze away, it sweeps across the room, and a flicker of surprise crosses her face. Her eyes come back to me, and I take a good look at her at the same moment. She is stunning, every bit worthy of the author's most extravagant praise. Under Claire's gaze, I unconsciously tighten my grip on my chopsticks, feeling a nervousness I can't quite explain. After all, I'm an imposter. Would someone like Claire really fail to notice that something is off about her own husband? Those eyes of hers make me feel like nothing in the world could hide from them. Did you hire a cleaner? Was there enough money? Her tone is flat with a trace of scrutiny. I shake my head without thinking. No, I did it myself. You did it yourself? Claire stares at me, clearly taken aback. We hold each other's gaze for a moment. She looks away first. Do you have enough money? It's enough. What about you? I ask without thinking. The words are barely out before I regret them. That question makes Claire look over at me again, surprised. Then she says quietly, enough. After that, we both fall silent. Claire glances at the food I'm eating on the table. Then she suddenly says, I'm sorry. I don't follow at first. I look up, trace her gaze, and quickly shake my head. No, you have nothing to apologize for. Claire steps over, sits on the other end of the sofa, and chooses her words carefully. The assets have mostly been dealt with. Everything in my name has been transferred away. There's nothing left, but there are no debts either, so you don't need to worry about that. I still have 30,000 yuan on hand. Once things are settled, I'll start earning again as soon as I can. You should have 60,000 on your card. I've already paid 6 months rent on this place. If you want a divorce, I'll give you another 20,000. You're welcome to stay here until you find somewhere else. I know exactly what this means. Claire's done more than enough for me. Our total assets come to 90,000 yuan. She's willing to hand over 80% of it to me and let me stay in the apartment. Moreover, she'd never take back the watches and clothes either. That would leave her with 1 room and 10,000 yuan. Seeing I say nothing, Claire adds, in the future, I'll set aside a portion of whatever I earn each month, at least 3,000. I can't promise more right now because I don't know what's ahead, but if I get a chance to make a comeback, I'll make it up to you. I immediately shake my head. Claire goes quiet when she sees me refuse. I realize my reaction might have given the wrong impression. I quickly explain, no, I don't want a divorce, and I don't need your money. I've got enough to get by. I've made my peace with where things stand. I'll cut back on spending, and I'll earn my own money. So you don't put so much pressure on yourself. An ordinary household doesn't cost that much to run. You don't want a divorce? Claire looks at me. But yesterday you said, then it hits me. Yesterday, apparently I said some very angry things. I did call her useless and say I wanted a divorce. My expression stiffens and I try to explain. I was drunk. I didn't mean it. I've thought it through and I can't divorce you at a time like this. We're married and I intend to pull my weight. Don't worry about me. I can take care of myself. I might even be able to take care of you. As soon as I speak, the look Claire gives me gets even stranger, but she doesn't push it. If you don't want a divorce, then forget it. Whenever you change your mind, just say the word. Claire gets up and heads to the bathroom. I duck my head and awkwardly keep eating. I hear her footsteps pause just inside the bathroom door for a few seconds. She must have noticed how different it looks from before. Then the sound of running water starts. By the time I finish eating, Claire is done in the bathroom. There's none of the awkwardness I expected. Thank you, get some rest. I run a hand through my hair, feeling like I'm in a dream. I sort through my thoughts, one more time, then head to the bathroom. Back in my room, I open my laptop and set up a personal shop on a resale platform. Then I close the laptop and go to sleep. The next morning, I wake up out of habit at 6:30. I gather the ingredients I bought yesterday, get the porridge going, then head downstairs to grab steamed buns and fried dough sticks. When I get back, Claire is just stepping out of her room. She hears the door open and looks up to see the food in my hands. She automatically rubs her eyes, as if she can't quite believe what she's seeing. Good morning. I picked up some breakfast, and there's porridge on the stove too. Go wash up, it'll be ready by the time you're done. I head to the kitchen without waiting for a response, completely ignoring the stunned look on her face. Since we've both been staying up late, I made red bean and juju porridge. Good for energy. When it's ready, I ladle out 2 bowls. Then I arrange the buns and dough sticks on a plate, boil some eggs, and prepare some side dishes. By the time Claire comes out of the bathroom, what she sees is a breakfast on the table that could almost be called lavish. The scene should feel warm and domestic, but Claire feels none of it. She knows her husband. In nearly 3 years of marriage, I have never once set foot in the kitchen or touched a chore. The only thing I've ever been good at is spending money. According to the information she found before the marriage, it didn't say I could do these things either. Her mind fills with questions, and she wonders if I was hiding it all along. We always had servants and a housekeeper before, so I never had to. Now it's just the 2 of us, and money is tight. We can't keep eating out. My cooking isn't anything special, but it's edible. If you don't mind, you can come back to eat from now on. So when Grandpa asked if you could cook, you lied to him? Claire says this, then picks up her spoon and tries the porridge. I pause, then laugh it off. My cooking is nothing compared to a professional housekeeper's. I figured Grandpa was used to fine dining, so I didn't want to embarrass myself. It's a thin excuse, but it holds. Claire nods. It's actually quite good. I watch her eat, still perfectly graceful even now, and it hits me. Asking a woman raised on the finest food could buy to eat street stall breakfast really is asking a lot. After breakfast, Claire moves to carry the dishes to the kitchen. I stop her quickly. Don't worry about it, I'll clean up. Go do whatever you need to do. There are still some business matters to handle. I probably won't be back until evening. Don't wait around for me, call me if you need anything. Once Claire leaves, I finally feel a sense of relief. I think to myself that even at her lowest, she still carries herself like royalty. The invisible weight of her presence never quite disappears. If I hadn't seen a thing or two in my time, I honestly might have cracked under that pressure. I've got a lot to get done today, not just picking up things for the apartment. I also need to photograph the watches and clothes, and list them for sale online. With everything we have, selling it all should bring in over 1,000,000 yuan. Though when Claire wants to do something, she'll have some seed money. On top of that, I need to feel out this world's online audience and think about getting back into my old line of work. Back in my original world, I was a web fiction writer, and my major was interior design. But after graduating, I didn't want to make a career of it, so I just started writing instead. I took on odd jobs here and there for extra income. So my life was pretty good. I wash the dishes, then head out with my shopping list. I've never been much of a shopper, so I buy what I need and come straight back. Then I start photographing the watches and clothes. I keep at it until evening. By the time I finish with the watches, I'm completely wiped out. I heat up the leftover buns from breakfast and eat a few. Then I retreat to my room to read web fiction. My body is done for the day, time for some mental work instead. 2 hours later, I clap my hands together with satisfaction. I down the cup of coffee on my desk in one go. Turns out the web fiction scene in this world is a step behind my original one. Every story I've already written could be rewritten here in a better way. This is an absolute golden opportunity. Just then I hear the sound of the front door open. I hesitate for a second, then shuffle out in my slippers. There's no help for it. I noticed this morning that the door wasn't locked from the inside last night. Claire is used to living in a villa where someone else handles security, so she probably forgets that with this kind of house, we have to lock the door ourselves. When she sees me come out, she pauses in the middle of hanging up her coat. Hey, you're back. I noticed this morning the door wasn't dead-bolted last night. Back in the villa, there was always someone handling security, not anymore. You have to bolt this kind of door at night, otherwise a thief could pop it open easily. Got it. We're basically strangers to each other, and the atmosphere is painfully awkward. So I force myself to start a conversation. Have you eaten? Yes. I picked up more household stuff today. If you're missing anything, let me know and I'll buy it later. Nothing I need right now. Topic ended. What else can I say? I think for 3 seconds and make the executive decision to retreat. Alright then, I'll be in my room. Call me if you need anything. After I close my door, Claire starts looking around the apartment, checking the kitchen, then the bathroom. The house has a lot more in it today. It actually feels lived in now. He's actually serious about staying, she thinks. It's like he's a completely different person. I have no idea what Claire is up to. I'm too busy dealing with my laptop. The original Ethan worked hard enough in high school to get into a good university, but he coasted through college, and his computer skills are absolutely catastrophic. This laptop is painfully slow. I need to clean it out and see what the original Ethan was actually up to. As I dig through the files, I come across a photo folder. There are lots of subfolders inside, mostly selfies, a few photos of his parents. Then there's one at the end with a garbled nonsense name. I click it open, and wow, inside are photos with another woman. She looks like some kind of those socialites, and she's pretty, but she is just not my type. There's something about her smile, all soft and delicate, like she's performing innocence. Seeing how close they look makes my soul physically tremble. I frantically check the dates, all before the wedding. Thank goodness. That was close. I keep a handful of the more neutral ones and delete everything else immediately. By now, I've pieced it together. That woman was the original Ethan's girlfriend from university, a wealthy heiress, but they've been broken up for ages. There's absolutely no reason to keep any of it. Lucky Claire never snooped. If she had found these, it would have been a ticking time bomb. By the time I've sorted the laptop out, it's almost 11. I yawn and faceplant onto the bed. The next morning, I'm up even earlier than yesterday, and this time I don't go out to buy anything. Instead, I make fried rice with 2 side dishes. By the time Claire gets up, everything is almost ready. She comes out of the bathroom just in time to eat. Claire stares at the spread and blinks. You can make fried rice too? Sure, I don't have a huge repertoire, but everyday home cooking is no problem. It's nothing fancy, just decent enough to eat. Don't expect too much. Claire takes a spoonful and tries it. It tastes good, really good. I'm glad you like it. By the way, I'll be home for lunch today. That catches me off guard for a split second, then I snap back. What are you in the mood for? Whatever you make is fine, but I'd like rice. Okay, how about sweet and sour ribs, tomato and egg, stir-fry, and egg drop soup? Will that be enough for you? That's enough. Then you go ahead and focus on your work, I've got it covered. After breakfast, Claire grabs her coat and heads out. I clear the table, same as always. Outside the complex, Claire gets into a car waiting by the gate. Behind the wheel is her former assistant, Sophie, also a childhood companion chosen by her grandpa to grow up alongside her. The moment Claire is settled in the seat, Sophie holds out a paper bag. Claire, here is your breakfast. No need, I already ate. Ethan made fried rice. Sophie freezes mid-handoff. Wait, Ethan can cook? First I'm hearing of it too. Yesterday he made porridge. I thought that was already a miracle. When he said he could cook, I assumed he was exaggerating. Then this morning he made fried rice. I told him I'd be home for lunch, and he's already planning to cook. Sophie frowns at all of this. He's not up to something, is he? I remember you two barely crossed paths, and he never knew how to do anything. Wait, didn't he say he wanted a divorce? I already looked up the whole process. Why is that gone quiet? Claire looks up, a thoughtful smile playing at her lips. He says he doesn't want a divorce anymore, and he has made peace with things, that he'll work hard and earn his own money, and I shouldn't stress myself out. Claire leans back against the headrest, her tone unreadable. He can't stand to watch you suffer, so he's decided to tough it out with you? If that's really it, he's not bad at all. He did nothing in college. The 2 years we've been married, all he ever did was spend money. One day he demands a divorce, the next he's changed his mind completely. What do you make of that? People say hard times show you who people really are. Maybe his conscience got to him. You never know what someone is made of until things fall apart, and we've certainly seen plenty of people turn their backs lately. Maybe Ethan is just the kind of person whose true character only comes out when things get hard. Maybe, let's go. Either way, he's not gonna derail anything. I'll just watch and see. On the other side, I spend the entire morning photographing clothes. I can't possibly wear over 80 outfits. Keeping a dozen or so for appearances is plenty. I'll sell the rest and use the money to pick up some ordinary clothes. 2+ hours in, and I'm only halfway through. I check the clock on the living room wall, already 10. I need to go grocery shopping. So I quickly pack everything away, throw on a jacket, and head out. I come out of the supermarket hauling 2 heavy bags and start heading back. I've just crossed the street when someone calls out to me. I turn around and see a woman who is very beautiful and dressed exquisitely. I look again. Isn't this the woman from those photos last night? The moment she sees me turn, she rushes over. Ethan, what happened to you? I look down at my clothes, then at the bags in my hands. I'm genuinely confused. Is something wrong? What are you doing here? She looks at me with this deeply emotional expression. Leave Claire and come back to me. I can give you a better life. It hurts me to see you struggling like this. Come back and I promise I'll take care of you. If it weren't for everything I know about her from the original Ethan's memories, I might actually be moved by that look in her eyes. Rosie Lowe, second daughter of the Lowe group, and the original Ethan's ex-girlfriend. When she was with the original Ethan, she soaked up every bit of his attention and devotion, while mocking him behind his back for trying to latch onto money. Despite her family's wealth, she never spent a single yuan on him. Throughout the whole relationship, he was always the one paying. She called him when she wanted him, dismissed him when she didn't, dripping with a sense of superiority the whole time. It wasn't until Claire approached the original Ethan that Rosie suddenly started acting like she was madly in love. She wanted him to turn Claire down. The original Ethan genuinely cared about her, willing to go without food or clothing, just to save money for her, but she was only ever playing with him. Fortunately, the original Ethan had enough sense not to completely lose himself in her trap. In fact, the original Ethan almost did turn Claire down, but by chance he caught a glimpse of Claire's true character. And that's what finally made him give Rosie up. And that experience is exactly why the original Ethan became convinced that in this world, only money can be trusted. It's what turned him into the spendthrift everyone knew. It's fair to say that this woman bears at least half the responsibility for what the original Ethan became, and now she's coming after me, definitely not out of love. I don't know exactly what she's scheming, but it's nothing good. Claire used to be someone Rosie could only look up to and admire from a distance. Now that Claire has fallen, if I'm easily lured away, it would be another blow to Claire. and maybe she's planning something worse to Claire. So I shake my head. I'm not going anywhere with you. Go back to wherever you came from. Why not? Claire is a loser now. She'll only drag you down. What could you possibly be getting from her? Marriage means sharing the good times and the hard ones. I'm her husband. Of course I stay by her side. Whatever happens to her, I'm not walking away. She's only hit a temporary setback. Even if she were seriously ill, even if she couldn't take care of herself, I'd still be there. This has nothing to do with hardship or money. As long as she doesn't divorce me, I'm not leaving. Especially not now when she needs me most. What are you talking about? If I remember correctly, you two barely even interact. She just keeps giving you money to spend. There's no real feeling between you, so why put yourself through this? Rosie stares at me like I've completely lost my mind. Who said she hasn't been good to me? When she had money, she gave me plenty every month. Sure, she didn't have time to spend with me, but I could spend money freely. Yes, maybe that money was nothing to her, but money doesn't come from nowhere. Her giving it was a kindness. She had every right not to. Since she gave, I should appreciate it. And now that things have gone wrong, even in a divorce, she'd still let me stay in this apartment and give me most of what's left. She's done more than enough for me. You call that good? If that doesn't count as good, then what does? We never had deep feelings for each other to begin with. The fact that she's acted with this much decency says everything. You say she's not good enough. Are you any better? Of course I'm better. If you came back to me, I'd treat you so well. I cut her off before she can say another word. Back in college, I had nothing. And you looked down on me the whole time, thought I was just trying to leech off your family's money. We were together for nearly 2 years, and you never spent a single yuan on me. The gifts you gave me were freebies that came with your own purchases. Meanwhile, I was grinding through part-time jobs just to have money to spend on you. And then you turned around and dumped me. You call that good? What are you talking about? What kind of person do you think I am? Did Claire say something to you which makes you misunderstand me? A darkness flickers behind Rosie's eyes. You think too highly of yourself. Someone like Claire would never waste her breath talking about you and me. She doesn't even notice you exist. You're the one who keeps watching her, trying to make yourself matter in her world. There's a saying that the world looks like whatever you are inside. Leave now. I don't want to say anything harsher. Fury flashes in her eyes upon hearing this. She steps closer, her expression shifting to something soft and wounded. Ethan, Claire has gotten into your head. How can you really think this way? I genuinely care about you. Claire only has a hold on you because she's broke now and clinging on. Don't be naive. Stop, don't come any closer. Bottom line, abandoning my wife the moment she hits rock bottom is not something a decent person does. I'm not leaving her. Give that idea up for good. If I ever do leave, it'll be because she no longer needs me. Rosie opens her mouth to say something else, when a burst of applause erupts nearby. Yes, that's exactly right, young man. Now there's a man with solid values. If more people thought this way, there'd be a lot fewer divorces. Your wife is lucky to have you. I finally notice. Not far off, there's a whole group of elderly men and women, clearly just back from their morning exercise. They've gathered around, and the man at the front gives Rosie a thorough once-over, shaking his head and clicking his tongue. Young lady, this man has a perfectly good marriage, and you're trying to wedge yourself in? That's not right. How would you feel if you were married and someone kept trying to steal your husband? Don't do to others what you don't want done to yourself. Exactly, you're saying he should leave, his wife, just because she's hit hard times and run off with you instead. Can you honestly guarantee you'll never have a hard day yourself? It's like a floodgate has opened. Every single one of them starts going in on Rosie, not giving her a single chance to respond. Within minutes, she's been thoroughly convicted, morally bankrupt, values in shambles, a hopeless case. I quickly step aside, ducking behind the crowd and desperately trying not to laugh. She really does need some educating. And you're all doing an excellent job. I've got to get home and cook, so I'll head back now. Let's chat another time if we meet again. Don't worry, go ahead, we've got this covered. Not far away, Claire and Sophie have been watching the whole scene from the car. Neither of them moves for a long moment. It's only after Rosie has dutifully admitted her wrongs and been released by the elderly jury that Sophie finally speaks, still in disbelief. Claire, that was Ethan, right? He seems like a completely different person. It was him. He's actually a good person. I mean, all we ever knew was that he spent money carelessly, but now that you're technically bankrupt, he refuses to leave. He'd rather struggle than walk away. And it's not even because he loves you, it's because it's the right thing to do. Just like those folks said, he has solid values. At this point, even Claire has to admit, her understanding of who I am has been off. After parting with Sophie, Claire heads straight home. She opens the door to find me, curled up on the rug in front of the sofa, fingers flying across the keyboard, the whole apartment filled with the smell of me cooking. You're back? I look up. Claire sets some fruit she bought on the coffee table and walks over, curious. She looks more closely and realizes I'm writing a story. I figure I've pretty much forgotten my major, but I still remember some things I learned before, and I've always read a lot of web fiction, so I know the space reasonably well. I figured I'd try writing some. You don't mind, do you? I ask without stopping typing. Claire finds this consistent with what she knows of me. After all, she's not counting on me to bring in money anyway. As long as you're happy. I know a wealthy heiress like her probably has zero interest in web fiction. She might not even know what it is. So I change the subject. The ribs are braising, probably another hour before we eat. Go do your thing. Claire nods, goes to wash up and change, then disappears into her room and doesn't come back out. An hour later, I knock on her door and call her for lunch. On the table are 2 bowls of rice and a spread of dishes. It's colorful, fragrant, properly done. I even added some garnish. It looks like real effort went into it. This is my first time making sweet and sour ribs, so I honestly don't know how they turned out. Give them a try. If they're no good, I can throw together a smashed cucumber. Ever since my parents accidentally passed away in college, I've lived alone. Influenced by them, I don't demand an extremely high quality of life, but I definitely don't settle for low standards either. I kept the place clean on a regular schedule. I cooked for myself whenever I could and lived a very structured life, so my life skills are solid. What I said earlier, that was just being polite. I wouldn't claim to be a great cook, but everyday home cooking I can handle. Back in the day, I always cooked when friends got together, and the compliments were never in short supply. Claire picks up a piece of rib and tries it, then nods. It tastes delicious. Good. Eat more then. The past few days have been a mess. You haven't eaten properly or slept properly. You've been working yourself hard. I pour a cup of lemon tea I brewed earlier and push it toward her. This is lemon tea with little honey, good for vitamin C. Drink as much as you like. Don't let the sourness put you off. Claire watches me with a searching look, unable to shake the feeling that the man in front of her is someone else entirely. He doesn't match the information she found before or the interactions they've had over these 2 years of marriage, but she never paid close attention to him either, so she can't say with certainty that what she found was complete. She pushes down the questions and says, "Thank you, you've worked hard." "Not at all, I'm home all day, completely sheltered from everything. You're the one out there dealing with everything." I smile. Eat more. Just thinking about it, Claire used to be in a world most people could only look up at. When old Master White was alive, who would have dared cross the White family? And Claire was always the most outstanding among them all. Countless people grew up being compared to her by their parents, and coming up short. Now old Master White is gone, and the distant branches of the White family are only thinking about how to carve up what's left. They're practically counting down to her complete collapse. Not one of them will lift a finger to help. Some would happily push her down even further. The chance to trample the person they once had to look up to. How satisfying that must feel. In fact, before I transmigrated, when I was just reading this story, I never understood why Claire kept refusing help from her closest friends. If she had accepted it, she never would have fallen so far. But given where we stand right now, I can't exactly ask. She was raised as a wealthy heiress. She must have her reasons. I don't know how Claire feels about this meal, but I eat very well indeed. And I'm guessing she didn't hate it either. After all, she had 2 bowls of rice. I'll put the dishes in the kitchen, don't touch them. I'll wash up after my nap. I drop everything into the sink, wash some fruit, and bring it out to the coffee table. Then I settle back onto the rug and keep typing. Writing something I've already written before, the words come fast, and my typing speed has been well trained over the years. Just in that one morning session, I knocked out a 2,000-word outline. At this rate, I figure I can finish 20,000 words and submit tomorrow. Claire and I are in a tight spot. We really need money. I don't know the first thing about business, so the only thing I can do is earn as much as I can and take some of the weight off her. Claire retreats to her room again, and after the door closes, I have no idea what she's doing in there. Around 1:30, I force myself to close the laptop and drag myself to bed for a nap. The living room goes quiet. In her room, Claire hesitates for a moment, then types a reply to Sophie. "Forget it. Let me just see how he does first. You can hold off on the search for now. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Let's wait and see." Less than an hour later, my alarm goes off. I haul myself out of bed. Head still foggy, I shuffle toward the bathroom and find the door pulled shut. Still half asleep, I grab the handle and yank it open, step forward to walk in, and look straight into someone's eyes. "Sorry, I was half asleep. I thought I was alone." I blurt out an explanation, then flee to my room red-faced and shut the door. I want to smack myself. That was mortifying. It takes a good while before I pull myself together enough to open the door and step out. Claire has just come out of the bathroom. We look at each other again. There's 4 or 5 meters between us, but she speaks first. "It's fine, don't be so embarrassed. This apartment is small. We'll keep running into each other. You'll get used to it." Right, get used to it. Are you not going out today?" "Everything I needed to handle today is done. I'm staying in this afternoon." Claire says this, then seems to remember something. "I've been out most of these past few days. Is there anything you need help with?" I feel a flicker of unease. Is something wrong? Just because I grew up in the White family doesn't mean I can't handle basic life skills. We're living here together now, so if there's anything you need, just tell me. I'm not only good for earning money. Okay, got it. I look at her being completely serious about this, and somehow I find her kind of cute. Whether she's on top of the world or at rock bottom, there's absolutely nothing to complain about in the looks department. As the author's most beautiful character, even a blank expression on her looks stunning. I'm honestly impressed with myself for managing not to feel a thing. After saying, Claire gives me one long, meaningful look and heads back to her room. Then something suddenly occurs to me. I jump up and run to her door. "What do you want for dinner?" "Anything is fine, I'm not picky." Well, the wealthy heiress is actually easier to feed than I expected. I wander back and settle in by the coffee table to keep writing. I finish a chapter and suddenly remember the listings on the resale platform. I quickly pull it up. Wow, 12 watches and 2 outfits already sold. I don't know much about luxury goods pricing, so I looked everything up online first and listed it all at 80% of market price. A lot of it is still sealed in the original packaging, but I was worried Claire might need cash quickly, so I didn't dare price them too high. I was half expecting no one to bite. Luxury goods at that price point is still a big spend, but surprisingly, they're selling pretty fast. I note down all the shipping addresses I need. After saving the file, I go to my room to pull out the watches and clothes. Since there's a fair bit to send, I arrange for a courier to come pick everything up. Half an hour later, everything is packed and the courier arrives. Claire must have heard the commotion. She opens her door and comes out. What are you doing? There are way too many clothes and watches, and I'm not going anywhere these days. They're just taking up space. So I figured I'd sort through them and sell some off. These sold today, it is better get them out to the buyers quickly. That's not necessary. We're not so desperate that you need to be selling my things. Honestly, it's mostly because the clutter bothers me. And these aren't the latest models anymore, I'm never going to use them. So it's better to sell them and have the money ready for when something new catches my eye. That ought to let the wealthy heiress keep her pride intact, right? I think I'm being pretty considerate, but something in what I said must have hit a nerve. She reaches out and briefly grips my hand, a slight tremor in it, then lets go and doesn't stop me. She only says, alright, we'll get new ones later. Actually, how would I dare buy new ones? A single watch costs tens of thousands of yuan. That's 6 months of living expenses for me. Buy a few of those and I'd be completely broke, even though I'm complaining internally. I don't show it at all on the surface. A wealthy heiress like her has her pride. I smile. I'll wait for you to buy me new ones. Claire is momentarily dazzled by this familiar yet recently very unfamiliar smile. She glances down at the packed boxes on the floor and bends down to pick them up, helping load them into the courier's bag herself. Only after the courier leaves with everything does Claire ask, how much are you planning to sell? There were over 100 watches and more than 80 outfits. About 70 of the watches are still sealed. I'm selling all of those. Of the rest, I'll keep about 10% and sell the other 40 or so. As for the clothes, I'll keep around 30 outfits and sell the rest. I half expect Claire to stop me, but she just nods and says nothing more. She picks up an apple, sits on the sofa, and starts peeling it. I can't quite figure out what she's thinking. I don't know whether what I'm doing is hurting her pride, but living is more important than these random thoughts. And even if she minds, there's nothing else to do. I looked it up this morning. In this story's world, property prices have only risen halfway to where they'll eventually go. I don't know what Claire's plans are, or whether she'll really manage a comeback. But whatever happens, I need to figure out how to buy a place first. Once the watches and clothes are sold, I'll have enough for a down payment. Then I'll give Claire the rest of the cash and pay off the mortgage on my own over time. That way, even if she never makes her comeback, at least we'll both have a roof over our heads. My mind wanders through all of this, while I sit staring blankly at the laptop screen, not moving. Then suddenly there's a peeled apple in front of me. The scent hits me first, sweet and fresh. The peel is perfectly even. I swallow without thinking. Claire is holding it out to me. For me? Claire pushes it a little closer. You've put up with a lot. I'm genuinely caught off guard. In the original story, Claire never got close to men, never had much patience for them at all, and yet here she is, peeling me an apple and doing it so beautifully. It's amazing. I take the apple quickly and say, it's nothing. It was bought with your money to begin with. You never complained about my spending back then. I'm already grateful for that. Claire actually laughs. She usually wears such a composed, closed-off expression, not icy exactly, but not the kind of face that invites you closer. Now she laughs, and I completely freeze. How is a person this beautiful? Don't worry, I'll buy you plenty of new watches when the time comes. I nod instinctively, then catch myself feeling oddly flustered and shy. I know you'll make a comeback. Take your time, I'll be waiting for those watches. Come on, you've got this. Claire rises, that faint smile still on her face, and heads back to her room. Out of my sight, a flicker of amusement passes through her eyes. That afternoon, I pushed through and managed to write over 10,000 words. Dinner is a casual, easy affair, and then we each go back to our own things. I stay up until midnight and hit 20,000 words. The next morning, after breakfast, Claire heads out and I get to work figuring out how to submit the manuscript. I check the resale platform, 8 more watches and another outfit sold. I can practically see the money pouring into my account, and the feeling puts me in a great mood. I've just organized the manuscript and sent it off when there's a knock at the door. Who is it? I get up to answer. A man's voice comes through the door. It's me, Marcus James. Marcus James? I rack my brain as I walk to the door, but I can't place the name at all. I open the door. A man standing there with that kind of roguishly good-looking face. The moment he sees me, he runs a slow, calculating look over me from head to toe, which I find extremely uncomfortable. Not going to invite me in? Marcus says, already moving to step inside. I still have no idea who this person is, so I block the doorway. Who are you here for? If you're Ethan, then I'm looking for you. He angles himself past me and squeezes in. Claire is not home right now, is she? Since he's already inside, throwing him out would just be rude. So I close the door and pour him a cup of tea. She's not here. She left early this morning. Is there something you want with me? Of course there is. To be honest, you're not bad looking, but you have no background and no ability. Claire marrying you is beneath her. I know it's because old Master White wanted to repay a debt of gratitude that he let you marry Claire. But in all these years, you've never helped her with anything. All you've ever done is spend money and enjoy yourself. Don't you feel ashamed of yourself? Can I ask what exactly is your relationship to Claire? Claire and I grew up together as childhood friends. She's always been close to me. If it weren't for you, we might already be together. Funny, I've never heard her mention you. Obviously not. Would Claire really bring up something like that in front of you? It is true that Claire probably wouldn't mention it in front of the original Ethan. They weren't close, and she's never been one to stir things up unnecessarily. I nod. So what do you actually want from me? Claire needs help right now, and you're just a dead weight holding her back. My father has agreed if Claire and I get married, he'll help her rebuild everything. So you need to divorce her. If Claire wants to divorce me, she can come tell me herself. Why does she need you to deliver the message? I'm not going to cling on. Unless this is just your idea? Claire would never do something so undignified herself. Of course she can't say it, so you have to be the one to step up. You've spent her money for years and never once helped her, and she's never made your life difficult. Now that she's in trouble, you can't contribute much, fine. At the very least, stop dragging her down. You bring it up, she accepts gracefully. Everyone keeps their dignity. Is this what Claire wants? It's what I want. Don't you understand? Claire isn't the type to do something like this herself. What we need to do now is to take the initiative to help her. You divorce her, I marry her, and then she can accept my father's support. If Claire herself wanted this, I'd agree to a divorce without a second thought. But you're saying it's your idea. So let me ask, before Claire and I got married, were you and she a couple? Did she love you? Marcus goes rigid mid-sip. That's not relevant, she's not good at expressing herself. And she doesn't like you either. I can help her, you can only hold her back. I'm 100 times better suited for her than you are. You're wrong, I may not know her as well as you do, but I'm certain she would never easily accept your father's help. Especially not help that comes at the price of marrying you. You think convincing your father to back her is doing her a favor, but you haven't thought about what it would cost her. If she rebuilds on your father's support, what kind of reputation does that leave her with? She'll never be free of the label of someone who got ahead through a marriage deal. I don't know Claire all that well, honestly, but I trust that the character written in this story, even as a villain, is not someone who would ever accept a handout. In fact, if she hadn't refused to bend, she wouldn't have faced so many of the hardships that brought her down. Someone like that, how could she accept using her marriage as a bargaining chip to make a comeback? Not a chance. At least not right now. Honestly, I don't have anything against divorcing Claire, just not because someone pushed me into it. I lay it out plainly. What Claire decides is her business. I will absolutely respect whatever she chooses. Marcus looks like I've stepped on a nerve. He erupts. You just want to cling to her, that's what this is. How can you be so selfish? Claire has done more than enough for you. Now she finally has a chance to rebuild and you're standing in the way. You're disgusting. I've been more than polite to you. You show up unannounced and say all of this. Anyone watching would think you're the one trying to wreck someone else's marriage. When has our marriage ever been anyone else's business? Even if your intentions toward Claire are good, you have no right coming to me with this. If you want to help her, go talk to her. I can't make decisions for her, and I'm not going to fight tooth and nail against a divorce. Any clear-headed person can see that. If she truly cared for you, why didn't you two get together before old Master White came to find me? If the feelings weren't there, why were you never even a couple to begin with? You keep saying she's not the kind of person to act dishonorably, yet what you're doing right now is dishonorable on her behalf. And you haven't thought through a single practical detail for her. What right do you have to say any of this? You're nothing but a kept pretty boy who can't do anything except spend money. What gives you the right? What gives me the right? The fact that I'm still her husband, in name if nothing else. And as long as that's true, I have every right to speak up against anyone trying to interfere in our marriage. Yes, I spent her money and never helped her with anything. But she agreed to it. She didn't mind. So what exactly are you worked up about? If you want to marry her, go tell her that. If she agrees, I will sign the divorce papers without a single word of protest. But coming to me, that I won't agree to. You have no shame. Marcus slams his cup down on the table. I'm past being angry. I turn my own cup calmly in my hands. You're the one trying to break up a marriage, and you don't feel any shame about it, so where do you get the nerve to call me shameless? If that's what you think of me, then I'd say we've said everything there is to say. Bottom line, you just refuse to divorce her. Think of it that way if you like. Getting what amounts to a confirmation and knowing he's not going to get what he came for today, Marcus stands up and storms out angrily. But before leaving, he turns back to throw one last line at me. Just wait, Claire will drop you sooner or later. The door slams shut. I let out a long, quiet sigh. It's understandable that the female lead is likable, but did even the villainess have to be this popular? If it weren't for my conscience, I'd honestly be tempted to just get the divorce. But it's just a passing thought. I can't bring myself to occupy someone else's body and take things for granted, even though it wasn't me who spent that money. It's technically on my tab now, isn't it? I push it all out of my mind and open the browser, jotting down addresses and details, then heading to my room to pull out the sold watches. Once everything is sorted, I call the courier. Today's sales need to go out as soon as possible. Running the numbers, everything sold so far comes to over 2 million yuan. Once the buyers confirm receipt, a very satisfying sum lands in my account. When I sell a few more later, I can buy a small apartment, put down a down payment, and officially join the ranks of homeowners. The thought alone fills me with energy. I don't feel like writing anymore. Instead, I open a new tab and start browsing property listings in this city. My first home I'm going to choose carefully. I browse for a while, and before long it's nearly noon. I don't even have time to close the tab. I dash to the kitchen to start cooking. Claire mentioned this morning when she left that she'd be home for lunch. That's on me. I got so caught up daydreaming about the future that I completely lost track of time. I'm planning on wontons for lunch. The filling has been mixed since morning, and I picked up the wrappers yesterday. My hands move with practiced ease, like I've fallen into a rhythm. A few seconds per piece, and before long I've wrapped over 20. I'm still at it when Claire gets home. I don't even look up. You're back? Yeah, what are you doing? Claire stands in the doorway, close enough to see my hands moving quickly but not quite what I'm making, so she asks instinctively. Wrapping wontons, that's what's for lunch today. I'll also make some flatbread on the side, so we won't have to worry about not getting enough. I say it like it's the most natural thing in the world. Making flatbread and wrapping wontons from scratch, this goes well beyond what an average home cook can do. The suspicion in Claire's mind stirs again, but then she looks at me. sitting there quietly, hands moving with quiet confidence, and somehow she feels there's nothing to question. Come to think of it, I haven't had these in a long time. The words slip out unintentionally. Then, finding it a bit strange, she shuts her mouth, stepping into the bathroom to wash her hands like she's covering something up. I don't notice any of her strangeness at all. I love wontons myself, and thinking about how Claire has been buried in business matters lately, she wouldn't have had the mind to care about food. Besides, wontons are street food, really. It makes sense she hasn't had them in ages. Do you want a bigger portion? I can cook up more if you're in the mood. Whatever's left I'll wrap and freeze. Good for days when neither of us feels like cooking. Alright, make a bit more then. Claire comes out of the bathroom and that's all she says. She hasn't had street food in a long time, the last time was 3 or 4 years ago. If I hadn't brought it up, she might not even have realized how long it's been since she last relaxed. Alright, I'll make plenty. I say it without slowing my hands. To me, life is full of hope and small joys. Life is what you make of it. Getting a second chance at it is already a gift. Everything it offers is worth holding on to. Being able to sit here and wrap wontons, eat wontons, that's happiness enough. Nearly an hour later, 2 steaming bowls of wontons land on the table. I call Claire out, and I'm already seated, tilting my head toward her chair with an expectant grin. Try them. I think they turned out pretty well. I wasn't sure how much you eat, and wontons alone don't really fill us up, so I made some flatbread wraps too. Do you eat those? Hearing this, she finds it a bit amusing, but doesn't show it. Of course I do. I'm a normal person. She sits down and tries one, takes a moment to consider, then gives her comment. These are good. See? I told you they'd be good. I love wontons, so of course I'd put in the effort. Since you like them, eat plenty. We eat at different paces. Claire finishes about half of what I do, but we finish at almost exactly the same time. This time, when I get up to do the dishes, she speaks up out of nowhere. I'll get a dishwasher. It's just a few bowls, doesn't take long. No need to spend money on that. It's not that expensive, don't worry about it, Claire says casually. I immediately pull a conflicted face. What's wrong? She hasn't fully adjusted yet. She hasn't quite registered that we're no longer living the way we used to. I'm debating whether to say something directly, but then I see the slight furrow in her brow, and the reminder I had planned comes out as something else entirely. Alright, I'll go pick one out myself. Don't worry about it. I'm very particular. It might take me a while to find the right one. I sigh internally the moment the words are out. Her good look really does make me go soft. I couldn't bring myself to say even a mildly bruising thing to her, but I've already said I'm picky. Taking forever and coming back empty-handed is perfectly believable. Claire watches my conflicted expression and suddenly understands exactly what's going on in my head. A strange feeling moves through her. In the first half of her life, although Grandpa had put her through hardship deliberately, in fact, after she completed that trial at 15, she never had to feel that way again. This time, she's not actually broke. It's her husband who thinks she is, and even so, he doesn't mention being broke in front of her. It's a strange feeling. She can't quite name what she makes of it. I have things to do. I'll be in my room. Claire turns and goes, leaving me alone with the dishes. I hum while I wash up. Life feels pretty good right now. There's a roof over my head and food on the table. The watches and clothes are selling well. Soon I'll have a place of my own. Things can only get better from here. Claire has what it takes. Her comeback is only a matter of time. And when that happens, maybe she'll share some money with me then. Even if she never bounces back, I can support us on my own. For now, having someone around who's more or less a friend means I don't have to worry about being on my own if something goes wrong. I won't be idle forever. Someday we'll live a quiet, ordinary life. If she wants a divorce, I'll give her one. I'll find the right person eventually. As long as we both end up okay, that's good enough. After the dishes, I write for a bit, then get ready for my nap. That's when Claire opens her door and comes out. Did Marcus give you trouble today? Not exactly trouble. He wanted me to bring up the divorce myself. I turned him down. I assumed there was nothing between you two. If you have feelings for him, we can divorce whenever you want. He also said his father could help you rebuild, on the condition that you marry him. There's nothing between us, and I won't be divorcing you over him. You handled it well. As for the rest, we'll deal with that later. I don't need anyone's help right now, and this isn't something his father can fix anyway. Understood. That tracks, I think. I get up to head to my room for a nap. Claire suddenly speaks up, watching me with a searching look. Since when do you take afternoon naps? I stiffen slightly and fumble for an explanation. I just realized my old routine wasn't great and my health was suffering for it, so I've been trying to fix that. You should actually try it too. A midday nap does wonders for your energy in the afternoon, makes everything more efficient. Get some rest then. Claire goes back to her room. I stand there for a moment, quietly uneasy. I didn't say anything suspicious, did I? After a blow like bankruptcy, anyone could change. That's completely believable. Back in her room, Claire sits down at her desk, expression blank, and falls into thought. After a while, she still seems to be holding something back. Instead, she picks up her phone and makes a call. Get a dishwasher delivered to me in the next few days. There are some things I still need to watch. For now, just keep things as they are. After hanging up, she sets her phone down and her eyes drift to the bed beside her. My words come back to her. Is an afternoon nap really that good? Before she even realizes what she's doing, she's lying down, and her whole body loosens. It actually does feel nice. She's been busy with all sorts of things these past few years, and it's been a long time since she last slept with any real peace. Without noticing, 2:30 in the afternoon arrives. I come out of my room with a long, full body stretch. I splash some water on my face in the bathroom. bathroom and step out just as Claire emerges from her room, her eyes still hazy with sleep. Oh my god, is this what she looks like waking up? She's way too beautiful. And someone like this turned out to be a villainess. The author must have put real effort into creating her, and yet gave her such a tragic ending. What a waste. I'm so caught up in the thought that I don't notice my own expression, and inadvertently let a trace of pity show. Claire catches it. Something about it makes her flinch, like a brush of heat. I pull my gaze away immediately. Do you need the bathroom? No, I'm done. Go ahead. I step aside and let Claire pass. I shrug to myself and sit back down at the laptop, ready to write. The moment I open it, there's a friend request. The note says it's an editor from a literary platform. Claire hears something and comes out still drying her hands. What happened? My story passed the first review. Once it clears the second and final rounds, it'll start generating income. Really? Congratulations. Good news for both of us. I say it and go right back to ignoring her, diving back into the story and typing away. Seeing me busy on the computer, Claire heads back to her room. That afternoon, I arrange for a courier to come pick up more packages. The courier who shows up is a young woman. Mr. Ethan, have you opened an online shop? These watches all look really nice. Any chance you could sell me one at a discount? I'd love to give one to my boyfriend as a gift. I'm taken aback and quickly wave my hand. Sorry, I don't have a shop. I'm just shipping things out for a friend. The prices on these aren't cheap. They're all over 10,000 yuan each. That's not my call to make. If you're interested, I can ask on your behalf. Over 10,000? Oh my, these must all be luxury pieces. I honestly don't know much about it. Maybe so. They're definitely not cheap. While I'm still talking, the elevator beside us opens and Claire steps out. She heard everything. What's going on? Nothing much. This courier was asking about buying one of the watches. Since they're not mine, I thought maybe I could ask if there's a discount. No, if they're luxury pieces, forget it. I'm just an ordinary person. I couldn't pull off wearing something that expensive anyway. The courier moves on. Is this everything for the pickup? If so, I'll get it all sorted and head out. Should be dispatched shortly. Yes, that's all of it. Thank you. The courier picks up the packages, steps into the elevator, and goes. I realize I've been blocking the doorway the whole time and quickly step aside. How are you back so early today? Not much to deal with today. Claire steps inside. Why did you say the watches belong to someone else? Claiming their mine didn't feel right. We don't know what the security situation is around here. If word gets out that we have valuables, that could be dangerous. And that courier has been here a few times now. We have a working relationship. We'll need her again. If I said they were mine and still couldn't give her a discount, she might hold a grudge and mess with the packages. I could file a complaint, sure, but that's a hassle I'd rather avoid. Bottom line, we can never fully know someone, and we're not close enough for me to take that risk. That was thoughtful of you. By the way, there's a reception in a few days. We'll need to attend together. Start getting ready. A reception? I've barely been to any. Will I end up being a problem for you? It's fine. At this point, there's no one left who can really cause me trouble. And even if something comes up, a little friction doesn't bother me. Claire calmly picks up a cup from the table and pours herself some water. Something about the way she says it sits uneasily in my chest. All right, I'll prepare properly. Over the next 2 days, Claire keeps her usual rhythm, out early, back late, but she's home for breakfast and dinner. I fall into the habit of having 2 meals ready morning and evening. Every day I write, handle sales, and look up everything I can about receptions. One evening, Claire comes home to find me not in my usual spot on the rug in front of the sofa. The moment I hear the door, I look up at her with an intense, slightly strange expression. She looks at the pile of clothes around me. What's all this? Did you buy all of these? Please, I need your help. I haven't been to one of these things in forever, and I have no idea what's appropriate to wear anymore. These are the ones I picked out, the better options. Take a look and tell me which one is best. Didn't you always insist on picking your own clothes? Back then, everything had just changed so suddenly. I was a bit on edge. Insisting on choosing my own clothes was my way of holding on to some dignity. But I've thought it through now. A person is what they are. There's no point being touchy about it and making myself look worse in the process. It's better to just honestly admit when you don't know something. Sounds like you've got it figured out. Then please, which one? I really can't decide. Claire looks through them and points to the most classic option, a black suit. This one. Clean, understated, it works. Perfect, that one it is. I fold everything else back up. On the evening of the reception, Claire drives us herself. I deliberately take the back seat. Claire glances at me in the rearview mirror. You're not dressed very warmly. Are you cold? I'm fine, long sleeves at least. Not that cold yet. I've been getting the feeling that you act a little strange around me. Not at all. We have no grievances between us, and you've been good to me. I'm nothing but grateful. It's just that we didn't have much contact before, and lately we're running into each other constantly. I'm still adjusting. It'll get easier with time. Through the rearview mirror, Claire watches me rub the back of my head. My practiced smile fading, leaving something that looks genuinely lost. She suddenly loses the desire to talk. We ride the rest of the way in silence. Before long, we arrive at the largest hotel in the city. We've barely reached the entrance when someone steps into our path, casually, like it might be an accident. The man blocking us is slightly overweight, his hair gleaming with product, a garishly dressed woman on his arm, his face wearing an expression of undisguised ill intent. That plot of land in the East District, I hear a major developer has been eyeing it lately. Shouldn't you be keeping tabs on that, Mr. Wilson? Mr. Wilson freezes, his expression contorting, and he forces a smile. Lady Claire, you look as impressive as ever. It's been too long, what a pleasure. Claire doesn't bother responding. She walks right past him and I follow. I stay close behind her as we enter the reception. I recognize several faces from the original Ethan's memories, the kept husbands and overlooked sons of the wealthy heiresses, none of them particularly significant. A few of them spot me with their drinks and look like they might come over, then they see Claire beside me and quietly retreat. Some throw me meaningful looks. You're not going to go say hello? Why would I? That would be asking for trouble. I was never actually close with any of them, just surface-level acquaintances. Things have changed. I had better not to pretend otherwise. We've barely taken a few more steps when two young men approach, women on their arms. The one who reaches us first is slightly older, around 30, with a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. Well, if it isn't Lady Claire, it's been ages, and this must be, forgive my memory, getting on in years. You are Lady Claire's husband, right? How rare to see you both out together. What's the matter, life treating you badly? Running low on cash lately? I'd heard the two of you weren't exactly close. It looks like people were wrong about that. Mr. Fang, it's been a while. I was starting to think you'd taken ill and couldn't get up. Clearly I was mistaken. Some people are smart enough that after falling in the same spot once, they make sure to step around it next time. Others aren't satisfied until they've fallen there to their death. Which would you say describes you, Mr. Fang? Indeed, some pits that used to be pits are now treasure lying right on the ground waiting to be picked up. And naturally, anyone who spots treasure wants to reach for it. I'm sure you understand what I mean, Lady Claire. By the way, I hear you've run into some business trouble recently. We've known each other long enough that I feel I should offer a friendly word of advice. Sometimes wealth isn't measured in money. Sometimes it's measured in people. My fist tightens without thinking and I step forward, putting myself between him and Claire. Then a woman's voice cuts through from nearby. Claire, what are you doing here? At the sound of that voice, both men's expressions shift and they take a step back in unison. Just stop by. What exactly do you two think you're doing? Since when is my second sister someone you can just walk up and talk to however you like? Have the fangs and the hay-cheese really sunk this low? Why are you still standing there, waiting for a formal invitation to leave? Don't mistake me for my sister. I do not have her patience. Both men nod rapidly and make themselves scarce. Their companions crane their necks trying to get a look at Vera and get harshly snapped at for it. Claire, honestly, if you're coming, fine, but why bring him? And if you are bringing him, at least give me a heads up. Those two idiots just now actually trying to flex in front of you. You really are too patient with them. It's nothing, just a couple of clowns. But what about you? You never come to things like this. What brought you here tonight? I was worried you might show up and run into people with no sense, so I had my manager cancel an appearance for this. Good thing I did, or who knows what those two would have said. Vera turns her gaze to me, looking me up and down with a measuring look. Given where my older sister is right now, there's no money left to squeeze out of her, so you can drop the act. If you're going to leave, just go. I smile awkwardly and say nothing. Don't talk nonsense. We're still married, Claire says. Come on, let's go sit somewhere. Fine, I'll come with you. With Vera sitting beside us, no one else comes near. Anyone with any standing here knows Vera is not someone you want to cross. I'd brace myself for an evening full of awkward encounters, but we've barely been seated when Claire is already ready to go. Vera tries to get Claire to stay for something, but Claire declines. We leave together. In the car, I watch Claire, who is driving, and after a full 3 minutes of hesitation, I finally work up the nerve. Did you get what you came for tonight? More or less. I've been selling off the watches and clothes. We've got a decent amount now. Since everything's been settled and we're debt-free, I was thinking, why not buy a small apartment? We can put down a deposit now, and I'll pay off the rest with my writing income. The remaining money, keep 6 months of living expenses as a buffer, and whatever's left, use it for business if you need to. Claire blinks, glances at me through the rearview mirror, then says, there's no rush. How is there no rush? Property prices are shifting every day. The longer we wait, the more we lose. Renting isn't a long-term solution. If it makes you more comfortable, we can put it in your name. Either way, owning a place means we'll always have somewhere to land. Alright, I'll think about it. Back home that night, I go to my room and keep writing. Claire gets a phone call. Claire, I've found what you asked me to look into. I've sent an encrypted file to your email. I haven't shared it with anyone else. Take a look. Claire's laptop is open on the email. She lets out a quiet breath, her index finger scrolling down the page in an absent, rhythmic way, her brow faintly furrowed. After a long moment, she picks up her phone and dials. Hello, Master Chen. I have a question. Is it possible for a person without any dissociative condition or psychosis to become an entirely different person in every meaningful sense? As in, their habits, their values, their whole way of being, all seemingly transformed overnight. A few minutes later, she hangs up, leans back in her chair, and the neutral line of her mouth slowly curves into something like a smile. Soul transmigration, is it? The next morning, I'm unhurriedly finishing off a scallion roll, when Claire suddenly looks up, as if something has caught her interest. What kind of stories do you write? My hand stills mid-bite. What do I write? All kinds, really. I never stick to just one genre. I want to write everything, but if I had to pick, transmigration stories are my favorite. The wilder the concept, the better. Do you think transmigration is real? I think so. Nobody really knows what this world is at its core. Sometimes we feel like we're living in a very real world, It might just be a world someone else wrote into existence. Who knows what the world really is? If we can't even confirm the nature of the world we live in, how can anyone say transmigration doesn't exist? A world written into existence? Of course. In someone else's story we might just be nameless background characters. So if you had transmigrated, what do you think your previous life would have been like? A pretty happy one, I'd imagine. Parents who loved each other, only child, free to do whatever I wanted. Maybe they'd pass away suddenly, but I'd have studied what I loved, never went hungry or went broke, life was decent overall. And the transmigration itself, probably getting stabbed to death trying to save someone. A very unlucky way to go. That is really unlucky. It's a reminder to think before acting. Even good intentions need to come with a sense of your own limits. Absolutely, that's genuinely important. We don't bring it up again after that. After breakfast, Claire heads out, and I stay in and write. Claire doesn't come home for lunch, so I happily order delivery. After eating, I tidy up and take out the trash. In the afternoon, I ship out the latest round of sales as usual, then head out to pick up groceries. Walking through the supermarket, it suddenly occurs to me. Life right now isn't all that different from my previous one. I'm still turning that over when a woman nearby speaks up. Hey, aren't you that young man from last time, the one that awful woman came after? Out grocery shopping too? Oh, it's you! Just picking up some things for dinner. Good for you, not many young people cook these days. Your wife is a lucky woman. Not at all, she's out working all the time, so I've just been picking up the slack at home. If anyone's lucky, it's me. A person who knows how to be grateful will always live well. At your age, thinking this way is rare and precious. If your wife shares that same spirit, your life together can only get better. I smile and pick out a good head of cauliflower, then turn toward the tomatoes, and find Claire already standing beside me. What are you doing here? I finished early, so I came to pick a few things up. I happen to see you. Do you need any hand? I'm fine, only 4 things in my hands and none of it's heavy. Go do your own shopping. Later, I spot some good tomatoes and think about making sweet and sour ribs. After all, Claire does seem to enjoy sour flavors. We end up buying a whole range of ingredients and a fair bit of snacks, and swing by for some printer paper too. Then we head to the checkout together. Oh, young man, we meet again. And this must be your wife. She is so pretty. She is. This is my wife. I have never in my life seen a girl this beautiful. She's prettier than any actress. No wonder you wouldn't leave her. That woman who came after you before, there is no comparison at all. Not even close in looks, and her demeanor is completely lacking. I don't know how she had the nerve to approach you. I suck in a breath, my heart climbing into my throat. Claire looks over at me with a meaningful expression. I laugh awkwardly. You're absolutely right, that woman was no good. Even if I lost my mind completely, I wouldn't have anything to do with someone like that again. She had nothing but bad intentions coming to find me. Fortunately, I'm not as easy to fool as I used to be. The cashier runs the card and returns it with both hands. Your card, sir. I pay and quickly bid farewell to the woman. Goodbye. Then I hustle out of the supermarket alongside Claire. Outside, I start explaining. I think you probably already know that before we got married, I had a girlfriend. Her name was Rosie Lowe. Back in college, I didn't know better, didn't understand how people could be, so I fell for someone like her. But after we got married, I cut off all contact with her completely. That day, she showed up right as I was leaving the supermarket. I knew immediately she wasn't there for anything good, so when she asked me to go with her, I turned her down on the spot. That woman just now was one of the locals who helped set her straight that day. Claire nods. Rosie Lowe, second daughter of the Lowe Group. I've heard she's notoriously stingy. That's putting it mildly. She put on this polished, high-achieving act, and back then, Ethan, I thought she was this impressive senior I could look up to, so I felt a bit inferior around her. Then I found out she'd been saying she was actually interested in one of my classmates, and I was just something to pass the time. Even talking about it now gets my blood up. People like her are the worst. Just keep your distance from now on. I definitely won't engage with her. Giving someone like that the time of day is a waste of a life. Back home, I put everything away and start cooking. Claire steps into the kitchen. Need any help? I nearly jump out of my skin. I wave her off quickly. No, I've got it covered. You have enough on your plate. Go do your thing. I'll call you when it's ready. Claire nods and steps out. I tie on my apron and get back to it. When everything is ready and on the table, I knock on her door. Claire lets go of her mouse and closes everything on the screen, then comes out to eat. We usually don't have much to say to each other. I can't muster the energy to start anything. But today is different. Claire speaks the moment she sits down. Someone's coming tomorrow to install the dishwasher. My chopsticks pause mid-reach. A dishwasher? You bought one? I thought I was gonna pick one out myself? You said you were particular about these things. I figured I'd just pick one and save you the trouble. All you need to do is use it. I give in with a sigh. Alright, I'll try to stay in tomorrow. The topic drops and we go back to eating when my phone rings. That'll be Jasper Lane. You can agree to meet him. I blink, momentarily thrown. Why is Claire telling me to meet Jasper? The voice on the other end keeps going. Ethan, don't let what happened turn you against everyone. Not everyone is out to kick you while you're down or enjoy watching you struggle. Even if I can't do much, I can at least talk with you, give you somewhere to put it all. You've been carrying all of this for so long. Are you really going to keep bottling it up? In the original Ethan's life, Jasper always played the role of the understanding older brother figure. The original Ethan would tell him everything, which is exactly why whenever Jasper asked something of him, the original Ethan would go along with it. And that's why, faced with my cool indifference, Jasper assumes I'm just being sulky. Fine. Since you put it that way, I'll come. I want to see what you actually have to say. I've caught Claire's signal, so I agree to meet him, even if it's reluctantly. The voice on the other end sounds genuinely pleased. We exchange a few more words and hang up. Why did you want me to meet him? Claire sets down her chopsticks. Jasper never does anything without a reason. Before, when he contacted you, It was to extract information about my movements. Now that you've supposedly lost your usefulness to him, he's still reaching out. That means he's found another angle, something about you he thinks he can use. If you don't go, he'll just find another way to get what he wants. I get it immediately. The unspoken logic is if I can't avoid it, I might as well be the one who controls when and how it happens. Sure enough, she follows it up with, at any given moment, having some control over the situation is always better than having none. And knowing someone is working against you, and staying guarded, is better than being played without ever seeing it coming. I see. It's not that the logic is lost on me, it's just that my old life never required me to think this way. I haven't fully settled into this role yet, let alone this world. But Claire, who rarely says more than necessary, is suddenly saying all of this. Is she teaching me? Across the table, Claire has already picked her chopsticks back up and is eating with her usual unhurried grace. From where I'm sitting, she looks as elegant and composed as always, like the fact that people are scheming against her doesn't trouble her in the slightest. Right, scheming against her. Because honestly, as far as I can tell, there's nothing about me, as the original Ethan, that's worth targeting. The only one here worth going after is Claire herself. Claire's only instruction about the meeting with Jasper is to keep it casual, avoid sensitive topics, and report back afterward. I nod and make a mental note. Jasper has chosen a well-known cafe in the city center. When I get his message, I look it up briefly online. The cheapest thing on the menu is over 200 yuan. When have I ever spent money like that? On the day of the meeting, I take the time to put myself together properly. I know I'll probably get mocked no matter what, but at least no one can say I showed up looking unkempt. What I don't expect is for Jasper's very first words to still be mocking. Ethan, I know you feel bad right now. You've always had too much pride, but you're in a tough spot now. There's no need to put on a front for me. I'm not going to think less of you. If I didn't know better, I might actually believe he meant it. The fact that he can say this and hold such a convincing look of concern and goodwill, that takes real skill. You're too kind, Jasper. No matter how hard things get, a man can't stop caring about his appearance. I'm good looking. Letting that go to waste would be a crime. Youth doesn't last forever, so every day counts. Besides, with my natural advantages, not making the most of them would just be disrespecting what gods gave me. He handed me the blade first. I'm not the type to take things lying down, I drive it straight back. Alright, our Ethan is always the best looking one. Come on, let's go sit down. I know you've been having a hard time. Let's talk it out over some tea. I may not be able to do much, but I can at least hear you out. Get it all out, you'll feel better for it. He keeps the smile firmly in place. Later, we're led by a server to a private room with the best view. I take it in and think, this is what money looks like. No comparison to the little tea houses I usually end up in. That courtyard alone, no ordinary designer could have pulled that off. Jasper notices me staring at the courtyard and assumes I'm pining for the life I used to have. He smirks inwardly, but his voice remains gentle. Ethan, what would you like to drink? I snap back to attention, eyes lighting up, and immediately rattle off a list of names. Every signature item from this place that I'd looked up online. Ethan, are you sure you can get through all of that? I know exactly what he's thinking. He must be thinking, why have I suddenly thrown all pride out the window and started ordering like a man who hasn't eaten in weeks? But I have no intention of explaining myself. Whatever I can't finish, I'll take home, not a problem. Take it home? You'd actually pack up leftovers from a place like this? You're really that short on food? Of course, not packing up leftovers is wasteful. I'm not who I used to be, so naturally I make the most of things. Frugality is a time-honored virtue after all. What's the matter, Jasper? Do you have some objection to that particular virtue? Jasper opens his mouth and finds he has absolutely nothing to say to that. He blinks for a moment, then manages, "You're right. I think so too. I really was far too extravagant before, buying luxury goods I'd never even use. A waste of money and a waste of time and energy on top of it. If I'd put that time into something meaningful instead, imagine. There are so many people in this world who need help. How did I never see that before? That money could have supported children in underprivileged communities. Anything would have been better than buying luxury items to sit in a drawer. By the way, Jasper, someone as kind and admirable as you must donate to those causes quite regularly, right? Jasper is genuinely gifted at spinning narratives and managing his image, but charity? That's a fantasy. He's not that generous. He barely has enough money for his own lifestyle. The idea of voluntarily giving any away is laughable. However, he smiles with complete sincerity. Of course, when I have time, I make a point of helping those who need it. My parents raised me to always share what I have and look out for others. Jasper assumes I'm about to take the conversation in that direction, but I pivot. So if you're that generous to complete strangers, then surely, given how long we've known each other, how close we are, now that I'm struggling, now that I'm one of those people who needs help, you'll do something for me, won't you? What? He's caught completely off guard. Of all the things he never expected that I, who had always cared so much about face, would suddenly say something like this. Jasper, you have no idea how miserable my life is now. I can't buy clothes or watches just staring at my wife's cold face every day. I can't even bring up money. And when I called everyone, I know, no one picks up. Watching a shift pass over his expression. I get up and move to sit right beside him. Grab his hand and hold on tight, no wiggle room. You're the only one, Jasper. The only one who still came to find me. You're the only person I can turn to. You throw around 200 or 300,000 like it's nothing. Surely you can't be stingy with an old friend? You'll help me, right? We're practically brothers. I hold his hand firmly, voice completely earnest. He still hasn't responded. I add one more line. Come to think of it, I haven't caught up with any of the women we both know yet. That last words hits exactly Jasper right where it hurt. He was anxious. Every woman he's ever had his eye on has shown zero interest in him. Although he projects a clean, upright image, plenty of people know better, and no amount of image management has managed to fully bury it. In the end, his family came up with a solution. Keep a low profile and wait for people's memories to fade. The reason he reached out to me this time is to get something done, specifically to show off his value in front of a woman he's currently pursuing. Ethan, what are you talking about? Look at us. What kind of relationship do we have? How could I possibly sit by and watch you suffer? Didn't I come straight to find you the moment I got back? You know me, I've always been soft-hearted. Watching a stranger struggle is hard for me, let alone you. Don't worry, I may not have a lot on hand, but 100,000 is nothing. I'll transfer it to you right now. Think of it as emergency funds and don't even think about saying no. Alright, but after Claire went bankrupt, how have things been between you two? How would I know? You know me, my degree had nothing to do with business. Even if she told me everything, I wouldn't understand any of it. Anyway, we still have food to eat for now. She's always busy. What exactly she's busy with, I have no idea. Asking wouldn't help anyway, so I stopped asking. I was going to file for divorce, but then she told me there were no debts, so I figured why not just keep going. I heard Rosie came to find you. She did, but she's not a good person either. Even at my lowest, I'm not going to embarrass myself in front of someone like her. So I made a big show of standing by Claire. Drove Rosie absolutely crazy. She couldn't measure up to Claire before, and she still can't. I'm nobody special, but the fact that Claire treated me decently even at her lowest tells you everything about her character. I'd rather put my faith in someone decent than in someone rotten. But maybe Rosie only realized her true feelings after she lost you, and you're not someone who's used to hardship. How long can you really keep living like this? Honestly, it's not as bad as you might think. Back when I had money, there was always some drama, always a cluttered head. The only relief was buying more things. Now it's quieter. I do what I want. I'm not someone who can't handle a simpler life. Before college, wasn't this just how things were? So this is fine. I have no complaints. I just need to figure out how to earn more going forward. You're going to get a job? How would that work? What would you even do? Imagine running into people you know while working a cash register or stocking shelves. Moreover, good jobs are hard to come by. You'd be left with unskilled work. Could you really handle that? What's so hard about it? I may not have worked before, but I graduated from a reputable university. I can learn. I have the basic qualities, English, professional skills. I've got them. Jasper suddenly remembers that I did actually earn my place at a famous university, and them met Claire and Rosie after. In comparison, his own academic record was nothing to speak of, and he had to be sent abroad by his family just to come back with a presentable credential. The thought puts him in a foul mood, but he still refuses to concede. A degree matters, sure, but so does experience. Starting from scratch now, you'd be behind every fresh graduate out there. It won't be easy. I'll give it a try. Since I could get into a top university, adjusting to entry-level work can't be harder than the National College Entrance Exam. Oh, look at me, why am I even bringing this up in front of you? It's fine, Jasper, you wouldn't know about any of this, which is completely understandable. You've never had to work, after all. I genuinely envy you. At home, you rely on your family. In the future, you'll rely on your wife, and you never have to do a single thing for yourself. Just coast through life. That sounds like absolute bliss. In other words, he is a useless deadweight who can't survive without someone propping you up. Jasper works very hard to keep his face neutral. Inside, he is seething. No wonder this guy's life is a mess. He has absolutely no tact. I, on the other hand, feel fantastic. We go back and forth like that, both fully aware of the game, but maintaining polite surfaces while landing jabs wherever we can. The difference is that everywhere Jasper pokes, it doesn't hurt me at all. But everywhere I poke him, it's a sore spot. By the time we part, I'm in excellent spirits. However, Jasper looks like he's one comment away from an internal injury. I remind him about the transfer before I leave. Knowing he'll need to use me again to do whatever it is he's planning, Jasper nods to show he understands. And then, with visible reluctance, transfers 100,000 yuan to my account. I walk away with the money, and a very good mood. When I get home, Claire is sitting on the sofa with her laptop. She looks up at the sound of the door. I come in, change my shoes, swap my jacket, head to the bathroom to wash my hands. And through all of it, I'm grinning. Clearly, I'm in a great mood. You're back? Haha, I just walked out of there with 100,000 yuan for free. Pretty impressive, right? I wave my phone, which hasn't left my hand since I left. My tone dripping with a smugness I'm not even trying to hide. 100,000 from Jasper? Yep. He came in flexing his superiority and trying to fish for information. I redirected every single thing back at him. Then I played broke, heaped on the compliments, and backed him into a corner he couldn't get out of. Then I let it slip that if he didn't come through, I might just mention to mutual acquaintances how uncharitable he turned out to be. To protect his precious image, he had no choice but to cough up the cash. Claire suddenly remembers that the original Ethan used to blow money on bags without blinking. And now here's this person, this delighted over 100,000 yuan, which gives her a strange feeling. It's free money, why not take it? Getting anything out of Jasper is really not easy. Here, Open your payment app. I'll transfer it to you. Think of it as Jasper paying back what he owed you from before. Take it and use it. Don't worry about the household budget. Watching me hand it over so readily, Claire looks genuinely surprised. Is there something you need from me? No, there's nothing missing at home and nothing's broken. That's not what she meant, but looking at my expression, it's clear I haven't followed. And then she actually takes out her phone, opens the app, and holds it out to me. I naturally transfer the money, still barely warm from arriving in my account, to hers. As if giving it to her is the most obvious thing in the world. You're giving me money you just earned for free, doesn't that sting a little? It was always your money. The meals with Jasper back then, all paid for with your money. Now that we're tight, of course it goes back to you. I like money, sure, but I like earning my own even more. My writing income has already started coming in. With me around, you won't go hungry. Fine dining may be off the table, but plain porridge and simple sides, there'll always be enough. Well then, thank you. No need to thank me. You treated me well before, after all. Oh, by the way, I also brought back some things from the cafe, all untouched. Do you want some? Claire grew up in comfort, but she's never been someone who believes in waste, except when business calls for it. In the past, it was always just regular meals at home. The difference was that whoever cooked was very good at it. And she also had takeout containers during her school years. Yes. I honestly didn't expect her to say yes. I assumed she'd turn it down. I stumble a bit. Actually, I just remembered everything I packed is sweets. Is that alright? What's wrong with it? I go to get the bag from by the door. Opening it, it's indeed full of pastries and small cakes. Claire picks one up without ceremony and eats it. After swallowing, she gives her comment. These are better warm. You've had these before? She glances at me, unhurriedly pulls out a napkin, and wipes her hands. Grandpa used to love these. It comes back to me, old Master White had a fondness for them. Claire must have picked some up for him over the years, and he probably had her try one. I suddenly realize I've just brought up memories that might make her sad. I feel suddenly awkward. Sorry. You don't need to apologize. The past is separate from the present. There's nothing to be sorry for. Well, what do you want for dinner tonight? I'll make it. I still feel guilty. Claire was always so considerate toward the original Ethan. Moreover, since I arrived, she hasn't made things difficult for me once, and now I've gone and poked at an old wound, causing her emotional pain on top of everything she's already dealing with. That's too much. Anything is fine. I have something to take care of. I'm heading out shortly. I'll be back late. Go ahead. I'll have dinner waiting when you get back. Claire glances at me. She starts to say I don't need to wait, but then she sees the guilt still sitting on my face, and the refusal doesn't come. Alright, after Claire leaves, I think for a moment, then tidy up the apartment, do some writing, and head out to buy groceries. Around 8 o'clock, the door opens. I look up from my document. Claire is already stepping inside. I save the file. You're back. The food should still be warm. Are you hungry? Claire takes off her coat and hangs it up. The cold she carried in from outside dissolves almost immediately in the warmth of the room. She glances over and sees the food set out on the dining table, all covered to keep warm. She changes her shoes quickly. You've been waiting this whole time. You must be starving. Let me just wash my hands. I'm alright, not really hungry. I can't always make it back at a regular time. I'll let you know in advance when I won't be home. Eat when you're hungry. Don't wait for me. Got it. I already know Claire isn't like other people with regular jobs, the kind who come home for dinner every day. If she's not coming back, honestly, it's a little easier for me. I can just throw something simple together for myself. Out of guilt, I've made tonight's dinner quite the spread. I even made steamed buns by hand, an impressive range, including scallion rolls, sweet-filled buns, cornbread buns, sweet potato rolls, all small and neat, each one probably gone in 2 or 3 bites. They look adorable on the plate. Claire picks up a scallion roll and finishes it in a few bites. She nods after swallowing. The buns are really good, right? I spent 3 or 4 days just figuring out the right ratios and timing. It took serious trial and error before I got them to where they are now. Scallion rolls and sweet-filled buns are my favorites. My friends always loved them too. Whenever I had time to spare, I stopped mid-sentence. Oh no. I got a little too excited and almost let something slip. The skill really shows. Are those friends from university? Yeah, friends from university. We kinda lost touch after, and I haven't made steamed buns in ages. Didn't expect the skill to still be there. Fortunately, the wealthy heiress didn't read into it further. One wrong thread and the whole thing unravels. I breathe a quiet sigh of relief, completely missing the look of keen interest on the face across from me. By the way, I've been simmering the chicken soup for a good while today. Make sure you drink plenty. Okay. My chicken soup has always turned out well, and Claire genuinely enjoys it. Restaurant soups always seem to be missing something, but the soup I make has just the right balance of flavors. Claire knows it herself. It's not really about the flavor. It's the feeling of someone taking the time to make it for her. When Claire was little, her mother used to make chicken soup for her too. It never tasted particularly good, but her mother always insisted it was good for growing children, so Claire's father would make sure. She finished every last drop. After her parents died in an accident, she tried all kinds of chicken soup. The chefs, the housekeepers from the White family,